Imagine walking through beautiful streets in Spain and seeing graffiti that says, "Go home, tourists." It's a bit shocking, right? There's also the story of a teacher who can't find an affordable place to live, so she flies between Mallorca and Ibiza every day for work. These things show how hard life can be there right now. People feel upset and restless about what's happening.
But what's really happening in Spain? Why are things getting so tense with tourists? Well, much of it comes down to a big problem with housing and how tourism is managed. Soon, we're going to uncover how these issues might affect Spain's future and your possible trips there. It's a mix of challenges and decisions that the country has to make.
Spain has been a favorite place for tourists since the 1960s. Back then, the country opened its doors and many visitors started arriving. Tourism is really important for Spain's economy. It makes up about 12% of the country's total income. It brings money and jobs, helping many people to make a living. But things have changed over the years, and now we are hearing about new problems.
Yeah, that's right. For a long time, Spain had a good relationship with tourists. Visitors enjoyed the beautiful beaches and historic sites, and local people shared their culture and traditions. However, recently, there has been a change. People who live in Spain are starting to feel stressed and upset. The situation with tourists seems to be driving some locals to the edge. They are feeling the pressure more than before.
In the last few months, there have been protests all over Spain. In the main places where tourists like to go, like the Balearic Islands, Tenerife, and Malaga, people are shouting their dissatisfaction. These areas have seen big crowds saying it's too much and it's not right anymore. Their voices are loud in these important tourist locations, showing how serious they are about what they are going through.
Yes, and these feelings of frustration are visible in many ways. For instance, graffiti has become a common sign of anger. It's on the walls and doors, showing a clear message against the current tourist situation. It's like a call for help from the local people. This graffiti, in a way, symbolizes the growing tension and emotional stress that many locals are experiencing with all these changes around them.
The people protesting in Spain are not against the tourists themselves. They are against how tourism is done. You see, there is a slogan that says, "This is not tourism, this is colonization." This slogan is very strong, isn't it? It shows how people feel about the changes tourism has brought. People are not happy with how things affect their lives. They want tourists to come, but in a way that respects their home.
That's a very important point. Many protests are happening in places like Malaga and the Balearic Islands. These places are popular, but they are facing big problems. One of the main issues is the rise in house prices. It has become very hard for locals to find affordable places to live. Imagine trying to rent a house and the prices just keep going up. It's stressful for the local people who live there.
Yes, and housing is really a big concern. There aren't enough houses for everyone who needs one. The rental market is in trouble. Many people cannot afford a home, and this problem affects their lives greatly. Did you know that, on average, people in Spain leave their parents' homes at the age of 34? This is much later than in other places, showing how hard it is to get their own place.
That's quite surprising. In some extreme cases, people have to live in caravans or even fly to their jobs because they can't afford housing nearby. Just imagine needing to take a plane to work every day because rent is too high. These are not simple stories. They show how hard life can be. The situation calls for a better solution to help everyone find a stable home.
When it comes to old parts of cities, many homes are now Airbnb rentals. In places like Malaga, this is turning into a real problem. Tourists are now everywhere, and locals are starting to lose their own neighborhoods. So the towns are starting to limit these rentals. It's important to think about both the good and bad sides. On one side, people enjoy visiting these beautiful places. On the other side, it changes life for the people living there.
Yes, you're right. Many homeowners say we're making money from tourists. They argue that Airbnb rentals help the tourism economy stay lively. But the problem is bigger than that. Critics say these rentals push house prices up, making it hard for locals to find a place to live. It's clear that some balance is needed here. But it's not just about the income. It's about how people live their lives daily in these cities.
Some researchers say Airbnb is causing trouble in the rental market. This affects those who live there all the time. They worry these short-term stays don't help people find permanent homes. The local laws seem to make it easier for long-term renters. But with so many travel spaces now, locals can't find affordable places. Some wonder if closing Airbnb rentals will really help. Maybe it won't make new places. It might just change where people stay without fixing housing problems.
There's another concern, too. If you close Airbnb rentals, it could affect tourism. Many tourists, like families, need these places because they can't always stay in a hotel. They might not visit if they don't have convenient places to stay. This might lead to fewer customers for local shops and museums. The result? Business might not do as well. It's really about finding a solution where both locals and tourists can enjoy being in these amazing places without hurting anyone.
In Catalonia, tourists are causing some problems for the traditional way of life. For example, there are special places where people like to go without clothes, but now tourists are showing up in clothes, and this makes the locals feel uncomfortable. They feel like tourists are taking over these private spots meant for cultural traditions and personal comfort. This change can feel very disrupting for those who have enjoyed these spaces for many years.
Yes, it is indeed a big change for those living there and cherishing their traditions. Small communities like in Binibeka Bay are also seeing changes. This town was peaceful and quiet, but now so many people come to visit. A lot of tourists just want to look around and enjoy its special look. But sometimes they go into private areas, sit on chairs that aren't theirs, and act as if they own the place. It affects how people feel about where they live.
It is hard when tourists do not see the lines they are crossing. The people living in these areas feel like their spaces are being invaded. All this visitor activity can wear down the simple joys of their daily lives. Imagine someone coming into your home and changing things without asking. This creates a feeling of tension and unease for the locals who want to keep enjoying their homes and lifestyle.
Finding a way to keep the culture alive while welcoming tourists is a tough task. Some say that more control is needed. Communities are trying to balance both, allowing people to visit but ensuring local lifestyles are respected. It's a question of management and understanding. Tourism can bring good things like business and money, but it's clear that it must be managed well to save and respect traditions and private life.
Imagine visiting a historic site and realizing how many people are there with you. In places like Valencia, scientists are noticing changes. They use sensors to check carbon dioxide, humidity, and temperature in these old buildings. All these tourists might be hurting the places which have been there for many years. It is like these buildings are feeling the weight of so many visitors, and that might cause problems in the future. This is becoming a topic that needs more attention.
It's interesting how these historic places are so popular with tourists, but they can also be hurt by too many visitors. People love to see and experience the culture, but it seems like the way tourism is managed needs a change. If not controlled, we might lose these beautiful sites. That's why the discussions around bringing in new policies are important. They could help protect what makes Spain special, yet also support the economy.
Tourism brings people together by sharing cultural experiences. But looking at it from a different angle, is there a balance between economics and protection? Many people argue about whether the economic benefits of tourism are worth the risk to historic places. To protect these sites while promoting tourism requires careful thought and planning. It's important because these places hold stories from the past, and they serve as a link between us and history.
Yes, that's right. The challenge is finding how we can keep the positive parts of tourism while also keeping these sites safe for future generations. Tourism management plays a huge role here. It's not just about limiting numbers, it's about sustainable and smart solutions. This way, we can preserve culture without sacrificing the joy of visitors. A good plan ensures that everyone, including future travelers, can enjoy Spain's rich history without causing harm.
Now, let's take a look at what the government and local people are doing to manage these tourism issues. In places like Mallorca and Barcelona, there are new rules on cruise ships and rental cars. This is trying to help with the traffic and noise. By having fewer cruise ships dock and limiting when rental cars can be used, the cities hope to make it a bit easier for everyone living and visiting there.
That sounds like a smart step. Also, in cities like Seville, they are thinking about charging people to see important places like the Plaza de España. The idea is to control how many tourists visit at once. The central government is also talking about changing housing laws. They want to give more power to local communities so they can decide about tourist rentals. Giving locals a voice in these decisions could really help.
Yes, definitely. Imagine if each community can decide if they want to have tourist rentals or not. This means local people could have a say in what happens in their neighborhoods. It might mean fewer rental spaces, but it helps keep housing available for locals. This can stop prices from going too high. However, how popular are these actions in Spain? Are people supporting these changes, or are they facing a lot of pushback?
Good question. There's a mix of opinions. Many locals like these ideas because they think it will help them. But there are also business owners and those with interests in tourism who are not very happy. They see it as a loss. They worry it might mean fewer tourists, which could hurt shops, restaurants, and other businesses. It's a tough situation, finding a balance between protecting local life and encouraging tourism. The task of managing tourism is urgent and intricate. Every voice matters in this journey. We're curious. What do you foresee for Spain's tourism landscape? Your thoughts are valuable, so please share them with us. Don't forget to like our podcast and subscribe for future discussions. Together, let's hope for a future where tourism and local culture coexist peacefully. Thank you for being part of this journey with us.